So what's going on in the marketplace? The Texas REIAs does monthly market updates. We post this also on the internet. This data was gotten from the Texas A&M School of Real Estate and a number of online resources. I will say we're not here to try to persuade you of anything. If the market's going up, we tell you the data and it's going up. If the market's going down, we show you the data and we tell you it's going down. There's a lot of groups out there that try to persuade you. It's going up, it's going up. Realtor Association always says it's going up, right? And sometimes it is going up and sometimes it's not going up. We have ways to make money in up markets and down markets, right? So they're all great. So what's going on in the marketplace? This is an infographic that kind of sums up a lot of the Texas market and where we are. The average price house in the state of Texas, $436,000, up 1%. Basically flat from 1 year ago. Median price in Texas, $340,000, down 1.5% from a year ago. There's not much going on in terms of prices, basically flat. If you want to look at one data point though, that's kind of like the barometer of the market, this is what you want to look at. Months of inventory, months of inventory. What is months of inventory? How do you calculate that? If you took all the houses for sale in the MLS and you stopped adding any more, we're just going to sell the ones that are for sale until we're out, until the shelves are dry, right? And we're not going to add any more houses for sale. The question is, how long would those houses last? How many months of inventory do we have? How long would it take before we sold all the houses out? The answer in right now, 5.8 months. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. They say if there's less than 6 months of inventory, you have a seller's market. If there's more than 6 months of inventory, you have a buyer's market. What kind of a market are we in, guys? Technically, we're still in a seller's market. Believe it or not. Yeah, not much of a seller's market, but technically it's still slightly a seller's market. Why is that? Well, let's talk. 2021, prices went up 18% in 1 year. 2022, they went up another 10.7% in 1 year. 2023, flat. 2024, mostly flat, up a tiny bit at the end of the year. Why? Because interest rates went down a little bit and prices went up just a little bit. Why has this market been flat for the last 2 years? Well, what has changed in real estate over the last 2 years? What is the biggest thing that's changed over the last 5 years? Interest rates. Interest rates went up. Now, when interest rates go up, does that make house prices go up or go down? You might think they'd make them go down, but I'm going to tell you something. Real estate doesn't really care about interest rates. Real estate cares about two things, supply and demand. That's it, supply and demand. Now, for sure, when interest rates go up, right, houses are less affordable, which means fewer people can afford them, which means there's less demand. And when there's less demand, yeah, that pushes prices down. But there's some offsets. What are the offsets? Normally, historically, 2/3 of the houses for sale are resale and 1/3 are new construction. Right now it's inverted. Right now it's 2/3 new construction, only 1/3 resale. How come people are not selling their houses? Because they got a 3% mortgage and they don't want to give it up. People should be selling their houses. Honey, let's get a bigger, nicer house. The economy's not bad. People have jobs, but they're not selling their houses. Why? Because they don't want to give up their 3% mortgage and then have to get a 6.5% mortgage. So all of that supply is being held off of the market. And we don't have enough supplies. What does that do to prices? Pushes up. Yeah, you have less demand, but you have less supply. And when you have less demand and less supply, then what happens to prices? Flat, right? Not up, not down, just flat. Did you know nationally we're in the middle of a housing shortage? Who's heard of that? Yeah, 6 million fewer houses than we have people, right, that need a place to live. And when there's not enough houses, what happens to the prices? Pushes up. We have another big thing going on here in Texas. Last year, Texas gained 500,000 people. Last year, California lost 500,000 people. Where do you think they went? Yeah, and there's 10 million other people, we don't know where they went, but there are a bunch of them here too. And the point is they all need a place to live. And we're not building enough houses. So because we're not building enough houses and a lot of people are moving here and they need a place to live, what does that do to prices? Pushes up. So we have things pushing down, we got things pushing up. Right? It's not as simple as interest rates went up and that's the only thing that happened. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that have happened. But because of all of those factors, the market just kind of leveled out. So, you know, what's driving the market? The economy is doing okay, not bad. Green is up, yellow's sideways. Affordability, yeah, interest rates went up, right? That's pushing prices down. House price trajectory is flat. Housing supply, active listings flat, months of inventory right in the middle. Construction labor growth, we have a problem. Housing permits, we're not building enough houses, and we have another problem, contractors are dying. The average general contractor is 58 years old, and they keep getting older, and they're not getting replaced. So if you have a teenager, here's some advice. Don't send them to college. Buy them a hammer. Seriously. I know some plumbers that are pulling down 7 figures. There's plumbers making $1 million a year. Plumbers. You can go get a college degree, study something stupid, maybe get $65,000 a job, right, after racking up a couple $100,000 in debt. Or you can become a plumber and make $1 million a year. You don't have to work for a jerk, you work for yourself, right? I mean, so I'm just saying, I went to college, my parents went to college. I have a teenage boy, I could care less if he goes to college, right? I'm buying him a hammer. You know? So you go to college if he wants to, don't get me wrong, but it's not a requirement in my family. You know, and then migration, you know, closed sales trajectory flat, pending sales trajectory flat. Migration's a big one. It should be triple size. Lots of people are moving to Texas. They need a place to live. So what is the forecast? You know, if you were looking for some big, exciting crash to the market, that was probably it. There wasn't much to see. We do expect interest rates will probably drop a little bit. That's what most of the experts are saying. But it's not going to be some dramatic drop. We're not going back to 3% mortgages. But we should see slight declines in interest rates, slight declines in mortgage rates, and that'll give a little bit of a bump to the demand, and that'll cause the market to pretty much level out. So we expect prices will be up maybe 1% by the end of the year. There's just not much going on. And trust me, like when there's a lot going on, we'll tell you, it's going down, now you need to do this. It's going up, now you need to do this. Right now we're telling you it's not doing anything. It's kind of just bouncing along.